Your channel's doing really well. Congrats. What have you noticed? Because you get almost 1 million views on every single reaction video. You do social commentary on a regular basis. How's your perception of the world changed? What's your worldview now? What's some stuff that you're thinking about that other people probably are not tapped into because of how much social commentary you do?
If you're asking me what's changed about me, I think being around Preach, having the opportunity to, it's also like my time on YouTube has been interesting because I started really aggressively when I was around 26 and now I'm 32. That's been a really big transitional period in my life. I think I've become much more relaxed. I've just chilled out a lot more. I'm not as angry. I don't have as many issues. I'm in a much better place.
You're making a lot more money.
I mean, that's only been the last year and a half. Before that, I was still making 30, 40K a year. So you have to imagine the period where most of my change happened, I was still making the same amount of income. And I've been living on 30 to 40K most of my life, either working in the military, running my own business, doing all this stuff. It's only during the pandemic that things blew up because people don't realize during the pandemic, we went from 120K to 1.7 million. So people are like, oh, you guys are rich now. You guys changed. It's like, bro, that's only been the last year and a half. Like, what do you think? I went through 30 years of my life living one way, and then I got to 32, and now I'm a different human being. Like, they don't know me like that. But my homies who I've never changed. I still got the same friends from when I was poor to today. We still kick it. We can spend time. My family members, like, none of these people see me as changed. But everyone online is convinced I have. I'm just like, hey, man, it's all
well,
good.
Maybe it's not how people perceive you, but how has your worldview changed? Getting money.
Yeah, so to that point is like, because I've changed as a person in terms of being much more mellowed out, I'm much more reflective. I'm much more spending time listening, which is part of like why I can't stream, because I feel like I talk too much. Me personally, I can't do it because I have to spend a lot of time listening. Or sometimes, I don't know if you ever had this, Sneako. Sometimes I'll talk and I'll be mid-sentence and I'm like, wait, why am I still talking right now? Like, what the fuck am I even saying at the moment?
Yeah.
I have moments like that. And that's when I realized, like, oh, I might need to shut the fuck up and do some reflection. And people meet me in person sometimes and they realize like I'm really quiet and I like prefer listening. And so I think that's like being the biggest change. I'm just slower, I just take my time a lot more and I just spend more time listening to people. So I can see the ways, rather than being so antagonistic and sitting across from somebody like, you're fucking wrong or whatever it is, I can spend time and be like, where do we agree here? Where's our common ground? Where do we disagree? And where can we get to the point of the shit? And so I'm much better at problem solving. And this is even something I reflected with my relationship with Preach. It's like there was a lot of turbulence business wise and through a work relationship initially because conflict resolution wasn't something I was the best at. But over the years, having somebody you work with over that time, you have to learn a lot of really important life lessons. And it's taught me a lot in that regard. It's just like, I know how to step back and listen a lot more nowadays.
You know what happened to me when I stepped back and listened? Like I realized like most people don't think. Most people have nothing to say. Most people just echo the same stuff that you see online. Most people are virtue signaling and like genuinely like, that's why I get so frustrated and I interrupt people. And I don't have that same thing where you like mid-sentence, like what the fuck am I talking about? I'm pretty like set in stone with my worldview. Mm-hmm. I genuinely think like I've taken the red pill. I see the truth of the world, and the red pill is bigger than just women. The red pill is realizing that we're all just pawns in this game. Mm-hmm. They're controlling us completely. And so because I follow that, and I don't see how anyone cannot see that like as a reality. Like the pharmaceutical industry, the banks, the government, everything is all a scam meant to manipulate and control us. So because I follow that, like I never find myself get off track. Like I stick to that because I don't see how that's just not the truth. That is the truth. We can't trust the government. There is brainwashing. Social media is bad for you. TikTok is ran by China, meant to manipulate people and make them all like change their gender and believe in nonsense. Mm-hmm. I understand. Once I realize that and I talk to people, I'm like, oh my God, these people have absolutely nothing original to say. They're just saying, so they just have to go, well, this is what I think about Trump. And well, I don't like a pro-life, pro-choice. It doesn't fucking matter what you think about pro-life, pro-choice. We have no effect. We can't change it. There's no point in voting. There's no point in putting BLM in your bio. The world is the way it is. And the only way we can act accordingly is taking our power back and fighting that.
I'd say this. There's a point where you learn that a lot of things that you've been taught or lies. So, for example, in my case, I remember being pushed so heavily to go to school. This is before the internet was like popping. And I was a 17-year-old who hated academia. And my parents pressured me so much. My guidance counselor pressured me. I had good grades. I hated every second of being in school, going to school. And then I remember going to orientation day for university. They let you come in to see what university is like. And I walked in and I went to a lecture hall and I fell asleep. And I realized, like, I can't do this. There's no way I'm paying money to go do this shit. This is not for me, but the whole world is constantly telling me. So I ended up just joining the military instead. My mom stopped talking to me, you know.
Me too.
And it was a tough period. Spent 2 years in the military. My third year, ended up leaving after that. And then had the money I had. Speaking to a lot of my friends from university, I saw how miserable they were. And 4 or 5 years later, what I ended up realizing is a lot of the stuff that I'd been forced to accept as being true, like you need to go to school, you'll be a failure, all this stuff, turned out to be bullshit. And I was angry for a long time. And then I get to my latter years and, you know, and talking with my parents and understanding, what I realized wasn't that these people were trying to feed me a lie.
They just cared about you.
Exactly. They were trying to feed me what they thought was
Which
right.
is a lie.
Hold on. It's not that they were lying to me.
They didn't know they were lying.
Okay, exactly. So
yes, that's why I'm angry. Because everything people believe in is
breathe. Bring it down.
Oh, why bring it down?
Hold on.
Let's just relax.
I understand your rage because I've been there. I just want you to hear me. Okay?
I hear you.
So when my parents are saying all this stuff, I'm realizing the intention that they came at me with, and it made me resent them a lot less because I understood the misconceptions that they were taught, right?
I understand that
and
too.
So, hold on. So once I realized that, it kind of hit me that a lot of people who are doing wrong things to me, or maybe the way that society's structured in some ways are doing wrong things to me, isn't necessarily because they have evil intentions. Sometimes it's
that's obvious. That's some obvious stuff. I know that because everybody's brainwashed. It's not their fault they make no sense. They tell us to make no sense. So I'm trying to wake people the fuck up. Everything you believe in is a lie. The government doesn't care about you. School is a scam. All the fucking history books are lies. We need to wake up and stop letting them control us. I'm not mad at my parents. I'm mad at the fucking system. I'm not mad at the dumb girl who believes in this nonsense. I'm mad at the people who brainwashed them in the first place. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than just the people in your circle. It's the whole thing. In control, does not give a fuck about us, Abba.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Hold on. I don't believe that. We have some right here locally in Montreal.
Locally?
Relax, man. I do a lot of stuff within the community that I live in. Okay, I'm involved with some people. We set up community centers. We set up stuff like that. Really important stuff that's important to me. We work with government officials who help us get the funding. What I'm trying to tell you is I understand your displeasure. I understand the fact that you're like, man, the government's fucking up all this stuff. What I'm trying to tell you is that there are still people that you can work with that can do some change locally. What I think is, hold up. Breathe. I think people are so terminally online that they look at these problems on the whole and they're looking at the canvas, not realizing there's a small picture right in front of them.
Okay.
If you spend so much time online trying to solve the world issues, what you end up realizing is you can do nothing because the problem is too expensive. But if most of us focus on the shit happen in our communities, there's a lot more that we can tangibly do to make a world a better place. And I'm just going to finish on this last point, okay? I was very fortunate that when I was a young man, I had somebody who wanted to help me at a really pivotal point in my life, okay? Somebody who worked in the government. Now, when this person helped me, they didn't understand the kind of influence I would later have later on them. But they unintentionally, by focusing on their community, helped breed somebody who in the future can help people on a larger scale. I think too many people are so busy. They'll be like, oh my God, there's a typhoon in Taiwan. Oh my God, Sri Lanka's going underwater. There's riots in Tibet. All this stuff. It's like, bro, you don't even know what's happening across the street. You ain't been to your local community center to volunteer for 1 hour. People are spending so much time consuming everything everywhere, they forgot to just be in their own fucking house. So go deal with your family. That's why Jordan Peterson says, go clean your fucking room, okay? They're saying these things because we're always taking a global approach to everything, when really you just got to slow some things down. So that's my
But from the top, they're trying to ruin the home. Divorce rates are at an all-time high. They're telling us to stay inside. Even if we like go clean up the fucking trash on a beach, then they tell you to quarantine. Then they tell you to stay inside. Ultimately, like, yes, you could do local stuff, but the top powers have more control. And like, yeah, okay, your local politicians, blah, 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 the comptroller of Montreal, sure, but they don't have any power in the large scale. The people who control us the most have all of the money. Like the local stuff going on, like it has a minor effect on what's really happening. And I'm pissed off that the top people control us more than anything. And people don't realize that. So I'm trying to talk to the people on the stream and tell them what's actually happening. Because people are like, well, the mayor of Wisconsin, bro, who gives a fuck? They don't have any power.
Here's my challenge to you. Go get involved in local initiatives, whether it be your community center. Go do some of that shit. Okay. Go work with those kids who are at risk. Go do that. Stream it, film it. I don't care what you got to do. Get permission, do whatever. Do it for a short period of time and then come talk to me. And if you really felt nothing about that, if you really felt like you didn't influence none of these motherfuckers' lives or didn't do something for you, or you didn't feel like it didn't matter after that, then I'll concede the point.
See, now you're doing it not because it's actually helping the global problem. You're helping it so that you feel good about yourself for volunteering. I did a good thing today. The problem doesn't change. We're all brainwashed. Yes, you feel good because you got a volunteer sticker and you made some soup for homeless people, but the shit is still happening. They're taking more and more control. And what they're going to do is tell us to stay inside again. Everyone's going to be scared and we're all going to be shaming each other, and they're going to keep trying to ruin the home by making these women unwifeable and making the men sad. There's a bigger problem going on than soup for homeless people.
I can't speak to what you've experienced. I'm going to just share one personal thing. That's it. I've had the luxury of mentoring somebody who from suicide attempts has gotten their life back together. They still struggle, but we keep in touch and we go through that process, you know, little things like that. Do I do this for me? I'm sure some portion of it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But I can't deny that I'm so happy just for them. Even if I never got to see them again, even if I didn't get any updates, just knowing that they good, that I think is important. I think community, helping others, to me, there's just nothing. YouTube is cool because in a sense I get to make content and people message me and that's great. But it doesn't feel nearly as intimate or as impactful as the people.
It doesn't feel. You're talking about like how you feel, but it does not solve the bigger problem that's going on. And it makes you feel good that you mentor people, stuff like that. But that's one person compared to all the population that's getting brainwashed every single day.
And imagine if every one of us tried to make an effort to help one or two people. You're looking at it as like, I'm trying to fix the world. Nico, you can't fix the world. I can wake up as many people as possible. You think you can, and one day you're gonna realize you can't fix the world.
Views on TikTok in a week.
It's okay. Hold on. I'm gonna finish. And you're convinced you can. And listen, maybe if you're able to do it, then I'm wrong, and you were right all along. I would much rather convince people to just take one step rather than tell them wake up tomorrow and run a marathon. My goal is simply like, help the people around you. Take care of your family, take care of friends. Do whatever you can. And if you could do at least that much, then if you got enough, help more people.
That sounds good. But wait till the next pandemic when we can't even go to the shelter because we got to stay inside. When they tell us to quarantine and we can't even mentor the kid because then you're at risk and we got to stop the spread. They don't want us to do that.
Okay.
There's something bigger going on. They control all of people like that. Everybody gets manipulated by their phone in a second. So what we can do, the power we have on social media, is to tell them the truth so people wake the fuck up. You're being lied to. The whole system is designed to make you fail. Mm-hmm. To me, that feels better than like, you know, giving a homeless guy some soup. That's one guy versus like people like, oh my God, I didn't realize this.
Okay. I get that. And I feel like if you feel like that stuff is not valuable, then...
It is valuable. It is valuable, but then they're going to tell you to stay inside and you can't do that shit no more.
Hey man, this pandemic stuff. But I'll leave on this note.
It's going to happen again.
This is my last point. To anybody listening, Sneako, whoever it might be, if you guys get the opportunity, maybe it's not just giving soup to some random person, but if you guys have something you can do consistently and try to help out within your own communities, I'd just volunteer to do it. I know it sounds crazy. I know you're like, why would I take the time to do it?
It doesn't sound crazy, but I think
I think there's nothing wrong with doing it for yourself. I don't care. I don't give a fuck if people donate $100,000 because it makes them feel good. If you help out people with that $100,000, the people you help out don't give a fuck if you did it because it feels good or whatever. I'm not one of these people who believe that altruism has to be done because you're a fucking saint. Help people if you can. And if you did it, fantastic. I'm not going to question the reasons why. If you want to do it because it makes you feel better, I don't give a fuck. The kid and the people you're going to help are going to be grateful regardless. So if you guys get an opportunity, be it your friends, be it your family, just have opportunity to support the people around you. That's what I would encourage, because not only is it tangible, but you're going to see the progress of the little things that you do. And if you get to be good at that and you got that down pat, then maybe expand beyond that, as some of my friends do within our community. And I think that shit is meaningful, even if you don't, Sneako.
You don't think that you're ignoring a bigger problem to some extent by taking that approach?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think what you're doing in these kind of circumstances is you're focusing on what's in front of you and what matters. You just think that what matters is different from me. And we can agree to disagree.
No, I agree that matters too. But I think that taking that approach is a smaller impact than what we can do with the platforms we have. We can wake people the fuck up, man.
I just want you to appreciate. Earlier we spoke and I said, you don't need to be rich to be happy. And you semi-agree, but you try to encourage everybody to be rich. Your mindset translates directly to this. I'm saying, guys, help on a small scale. You don't have to be rich. You guys can do it on your whatever you got, okay? And you're saying, get big, get big, get big. I'm just saying, not everyone's going to be able to get big, and not everyone needs to. Not everyone's got the same size shoulders.
That doesn't
everybody
handles people at the top get to fly all over, do whatever the fuck they want, while we just give soup to one homeless guy, and they live the life that they want, and they control and manipulate us to the extent that we have no idea about.